the show. Here we have Katya, and she's going to tell us about what it was like when the communism collapsed.
Well, my name is Katya Ivanovna, and I was a pioneer when communism collapsed. In 1922, the Soviet Union created the pioneers to make productive communist leaders of the future of the Soviet Union. It was to make so that us children would like communism at an early age. And when I heard that communism was over, I was very sad, because that meant that the pioneers would also be over.
Yeah, I can understand how that would be like. I can understand what that would feel like. Okay. What do you think made your country go for democracy?
Well, our leader at the time was Mikhail Gorbachev, and he made some changes. Like, he made the perestroika to make the economy better, but it didn't make the economy better. All it did was make people unhappy, and I think that was a big reason. And also, other communist countries were collapsing, and they changed to different governments like democracy. And I think the countries chose democracy because America had it, and they were doing pretty well.
Okay, what was it you said?
Perestroika?
Yeah.
In the perestroika, I'm not really sure. All it was a time when they were trying to make the economy better. So they would have, so in the future, for the pioneers or the children, they would have an even better time.
I understand. Okay, so how do you want the pioneers to be known as? What do you want them to be known as?
Well, I feel like as I said, in 1922, the pioneers were made to make productive communist leaders. And I think the pioneers should be known as children who were influenced by the government, because the government had created them so that the government could be influenced for the future.
Oh, so you felt that they were very important.
Yes.
Okay. How did you feel when you heard about the change in government?
Well, it was in late December of 1991, and my father had just come home. He had told us that he had lost his job, and because the communism had collapsed. And this instantly made me sad, because my father didn't have a job, and I instantly knew that the pioneers would be over.
So it was also a very sad time because your father had lost his job, and so it must have been very stressful.
Yes.
Okay. How do you think this will affect your future?
Well, I think this will affect my future greatly, because I was born and raised up in a communist environment, and I'm very used to it. And now that Russia has democracy, I will have to understand and know what democracy is like in other governments, because communism is now very rare in the world.
So it's just like if you were somewhere for a long time, you would think that when it's a change, it's a bad change.
Yeah.
Okay. Here are the last two questions. Why did you want to be a pioneer?
Well, because if you're a pioneer, you could get to experience being in parades and being in activities that non-pioneers can't do. Also, I had good grades, so I had the time to be a pioneer.
Okay, so you took it as a chance to have fun and be noticed?
Yes.
Okay. And did any of your family members, like younger sisters, feel very upset about it because they never got to be a pioneer?
Well, yes, because my younger sister, she was almost the age, she was 9 and she was almost 10, and so she was almost the age where she could become a pioneer, but she couldn't because had told us that the communism has fallen apart, and she was very upset, and so was I.
I can see how that would upset her. Well, thanks for coming to the show, and I know that I really enjoyed what you had to say. Thank you.